weren't even participating. And I sat there and watched the excitement in this guy's voice. I mean, he was passionate about these smoked meat sandwiches. I mean, you could feel it. And so, much like today, I changed my presentation the next day. And I used that conversation as an example in front of, it must have been 1,000 people at this conference. As a result, that day, at lunch, 20 of us migrated over to this restaurant. The social media stream was filled with people talking, and it matched, it aligned. The sandwiches were as good as his emotion showed. See, that was a conversation that benefited from a larger table of people. You're having the right conversations now because you're successful. You're sitting in this room. I want you to consider the fact that some of those conversations you're already having could benefit from being heard by a larger number of people, because you have no idea who's going to be the one who actually takes your message forward. That guy was talking to Brad, but he was really talking to me. This is a fact. It can't be denied. The way that we navigate the web, it's never going to be the same again. It's never going to be the same. 500 billion, not million, 500 million, that's how many people on Facebook. 500 billion, that's the number of peer influence impressions Americans generate per year via social media. 62% of those from Facebook. 500 billion peer influence impressions. 1/3 of the women on Facebook between the ages of 18 and 34 check Facebook first thing in the morning, even before they go to the bathroom. Think about that for a second. Your clients aren't visiting static websites anymore. If you think they are, you're just wrong. And we can sit and debate about it all you like. It's wrong. That's not how the world works anymore. They're participating in conversations which are increasingly taking place in off-site streams, in off-site status updates. That's where the conversations are taking place. And if you want to grab them, you need to make yourself relevant in those streams. You need to understand this river of information that people are pulling their data from, that people are pulling their information from. If you can't grasp that, all of the skills that you have, all of those things that you already do correctly, you're never going to be able to adapt and translate into this environment. Your objective is to make yourself relevant in their stream. As things are passing by on their Facebook page, as things are passing by on their Twitter stream, your objective, well, quite frankly, it's the same as your objective when you go to a networking event in your local community, or you go down to the Rotary Club or whatever. How do you make yourself relevant in those conversations? They're just as random. Aren't they? They are for me. I go to a party. The conversations that take place are just as stupid as the conversations that take place on Twitter. They're just as stupid as the things that people are saying on Facebook. They're just as, how did we ever get to a business conversation from that? But we do. You need to get that. And you need to make yourself relevant in their streams. And so I want you to, I hate it when it does this. Ira, can you help me? There we go. I want you to operate in real time when you're on Facebook. You know, look at those streams. But I also want you to understand what it is you're looking for in the conversations, because you don't have to constantly just focus on the stuff that's thrown in front of you. I want you to use search as a way to find the conversations that are more germane to your business than what you might find randomly. Does that make sense? Did I lose anybody with that? I find when I speak in places like this, if I were to pull up Facebook right now and take you to Facebook and show you the search, you'd say, oh yeah, I know how to do the search. Below it, you can do keyword searches, like for real estate, for example. And you can filter that by just my friends who've mentioned the word real estate. And go down and see, did anyone today talk about real estate amongst my friends? Did anybody talk about this neighborhood? Did anybody talk about fill in the blank? You get to choose. But you don't get to that meet unless you're disciplined enough to say, I have certain things that I want to talk about. Has anybody already talked about it? And here's the other thing that people aren't doing. You know, one of the simplest, quickest, easiest way for you to be hidden in my stream is to nonstop broadcast your listings out to Facebook. You do that, I guarantee you I'm going to hide you.
Yep.
You don't even know when somebody's hiding you. They haven't unfriended you. They just don't see you anymore. They just said, I'm going to ignore you. They keep you there. You think that they're listening to you. They're not. They've shut you off. They've got a hearing aid. They just turned it off. Here's a behavior that you might want to try. And if you're a broker sitting in this room, try it with the people who work for you. Help others have conversations about real estate. If you simply broadcast your listing with all the MLS jargon that's on there, guys like me are going to turn it off. That's not why I'm sitting on Facebook. You know, consumers don't go to Facebook to market, by the way. They're there to connect with their friends. So if you're connected with them, they consider you in one way or another, by some definition, your friend. So they really don't appreciate all of the marketing crap that you send in your Facebook stream. But there's a way to do this without it looking like it's marketing crap. Here's an example. Vicki, I could say to you, hey Vicki, I saw your new listing over on Elm Street today. Tell me a little bit about that. Well, see, now a friend has asked me about my listing. Now I get to answer back. And I can say, oh, it's really cool. I think it's priced really well. It's been very well kept. She can say, oh, really, really cool. I hope I can get over to see it soon. Brokers, do that for your realtors. Ask them on Facebook, in public, in that public conversation, a specific question that might be of value to them. Help them have these conversations in a real, meaningful way, like two human beings having a conversation. That's a way to have an effective conversation in the stream. We're going to talk more about being human in a second, but you need to make the opportunities and search for them to find the right kinds of conversations. But you can't just treat it like some billboard that you can post information on. You're not going to get the response you want.